We're here today at Swansea Drugs Project to look at their Naloxone programme. It was initiated here 3 years ago now. We're looking at what they've achieved, the training that they initiated with users and carers, look at the obstacles and challenges that they faced and how they overcame them. And significantly, want to look at and explore the impact that it's had for many users and many carers and families since the programme was introduced.
And during the last 4 years, the Swansea Drugs Project's actually been running high-profile campaigns amongst our clients and amongst other professionals to actually inform them of the benefits of naloxone and how people can actually get their own naloxone kits, and to try and encourage as many service users as possible to actually get their own kits at the project.
The staff and the agency and whatever, I think through not only undertaking all the initial training as trainers, but also by keeping that knowledge alive, by cascading that knowledge to other service users, have maintained their skills and experience, and when it's been tested and they've been put in situations where it's a critical life-saving intervention is required, they've been able to draw upon all that knowledge and utilise it then to help somebody maintain their life.
For me, the introduction and distribution of naloxone is without doubt one of the most important harm reduction initiatives that since I've been working in this field after, say, the needle exchange. It is definitely the most common sense way of actually preventing drug-related overdose. And it's a way of engaging with drug users who might not necessarily want to engage with services like ours on a more formal basis. So it's something that we can actually offer clearly through the needle exchange, make sure that we can give people the information, but also the resource to actually help people if they have overdosed.
Through Swansea Drugs Project, I got a lot of support from my son's drugs worker. My son engaged with the project quite early in his drug taking career and got a lot of positive support through the project. And then I started getting support through the carers group. By the time I started engaging with the carers group, because I'd been pretending for a long time that if I didn't engage the problem would go away, I was suffering from insomnia and high levels of anxiety, and the carers group's been really good in relation to support with that and giving you information. And the group was offered naloxone training. There were a number of things that were important about the training, one of which is you can't learn how to cope with an overdose from a booklet, and you can search the website. You get into some very sticky situations. I rang a national drug line once in the middle of the night to say, I think he's overdosing, he's losing consciousness towards the beginning of the programme, he's aggressive, but then he's slipping into sleep. And the advice was just all the things that I would have thought of anyway. So the training was really useful in terms of giving me the confidence that I would be able to recognise when an overdose was happening, how to respond. And also the fact that my son and his girlfriend, who was also heroin dependent, both did the naloxone training, and they had kits. And I knew where one of the kits was because to make sure they didn't lose the other one. Meant that I had some peace of mind in terms of the worst case scenario.
It's not been easy, it's been quite a challenge from the beginning. We actually trained over 200 professionals so that they're able to teach other clients how to respond in overdose situations. Plus also how naloxone can actually be dispensed. That's been a problem in itself because as an agency we don't actually employ nurses here. and then the PGD stipulates that there needs to be a medic who actually does that. So trying to get medical cover to support us to do that has been difficult, although by now that seems a lot easier because the project decided to employ our own part-time pharmacist.
My role here at Swansea Drugs Project is I work alongside the Needle Exchange, offering one-to-one naloxone training, and I dispense naloxone as well. So when clients come in and use the Needle Exchange, they're always asked, do they have naloxone? Do they know what it is? If they show any interest, then and I'm available, they can come and we do a very short one-to-one training session when I explain what naloxone is, how to use it, a little bit about overdose awareness, what to do if somebody goes over, and they go away with information and a naloxone kit. And I think it's really important that it's the Needle Exchange, the clients using the Needle Exchange that are accessing the service, because quite often they're waiting for prescriptions, they're waiting to get on a treatment programme. So by doing it that way, we're really reaching the clients that we might not see a drug counsellor or a GP or a nurse or anybody about their drug use. So it's a really good way of getting people involved and aware of naloxone.
It's really important now we've worked in partnerships. And while as far as naloxone goes, it has been difficult getting some agencies on board, there have been others that have actually quite surprised us and who've actually got really involved with the project. Like nobody would expect the police to be highly involved in this, but you know, one of the main initiatives about looking to try and reduce drug-related deaths in Swansea was coming from the police, who pulled us all together to start looking at campaigns and stuff. And even since then, the local chief superintendent has been really involved in lobbying other agencies to actually, you know, get a grip really and realise that they needed to be involved with this.
Mark, thank you for your time. As I've said, it'd be interesting to hear your views and thoughts on naloxone, its potential for use and its distribution through your network. So if you can explain your interest in that.
My interest is I'm the head of the police for this area. And most certainly I've been for the last 5 years. When I returned to be the head of this police, in that 1 month, that first month I came back here, we had 3 drug overdoses through the misuse of heroin. In that year, we had 16 deaths. And I was extremely alarmed in relation to the significant increase that we had over that period that year. And therefore, I got myself significantly involved in the area as to how we tackle, not just through enforcement, but through treatment, building communities, what I think is a significant problem, certainly from my area. So therefore, in terms of the use of naloxone, I wasn't even aware, if I've been honest, at that time. So an awareness is a big thing. Once you understand the detail and what it can do, it is quite simple for me. People may think it's a bit strange that a police officer wants to promote such a drug. My main purpose is actually to protect life and property, and everybody's life is of value as far as I'm concerned. So that's why I'm so much for it. Got significant ideas in relation to how the police can take that one step further in terms of how bear in mind, we arrest large numbers of people who have heroin issues. They get released. When they get released anyway, we give them what we call an exit interview. So why can't we, on that occasion, at that time, be involved in assisting in the distribution of the training for people to understand themselves what they can do with that drug?
During the past 2 years in Swansea, I think we've actually given out about 300, possibly more than that, naloxone kits. But what we've seen in Swansea is that the level of people coming back for replenishments of their kits, so where kits have actually been used, is higher than anywhere else in Wales. I think that's about 35, if not more. So it's a high percentage of usages in Swansea. But what I would say is, like, you know, if those uses haven't been available, then obviously there's a risk that somebody could have been looking at a drug-related death.
We don't accept in this society that people should be allowed to commit suicide, and yet we don't do enough to stop people who have drug dependence from taking the kind of risks that can take their death, cause their death. And people who are heroin dependent have a right to life. I think the other important thing about training carers is that if I were walking down a back lane and I saw somebody slumped in the side of the alley, I will go and and being nosy and ask them what's going on, because I know that there's somebody's son or daughter, and it means that I know what to do in that situation. I can check if they've got a naloxone kit on them, and I know how to administer it.
When it comes down to it, and you're in that situation, you answer, you know, staff and service users stand together with a common goal in mind then, really. And there's no barriers, you're just there all trying to help somebody out.